Hello. Thank you for clicking that link and joining me again today. I am so glad you did. If you see this look, yes, it's because I'm recording more than one video at a time because, hey, I had 5 minutes. I had some time, so. As I was saying in the previous video, the thing that I think that sets me apart from other YouTubers of my ilk, the weight loss channel, basically the 30 to 40-year-old woman trying to lose weight channel, that is because I live off grid. That being said, I had made plans to react to 1,000-pound besties. So I got on TLC, the Discovery Plus app or whatever. And I was like, okay, looking for the show. And what popped up on my screen was Off-Grid Love or something like that. I suppose I should get the name of the freaking show right before I start being like, we're going to take a look at that. Love Off-Grid. That's what it is. Love Off-Grid. And I was like, what? How fascinating. Granted, these kind of shows I'm not super into, the whole love and dating, like The Bachelorette and all that kind of stuff. But I am interested in the off-grid part. So, and I love me some reality TV, even though, yes, I know it's not real, but. So I thought, hey, this is going to be awesome because it gives me an opportunity to react to how people that have never lived off-grid are, their experiences living off grid, and well, and you have the whole love part, which, whatever, it's all, scripted anyway. But I thought the off grid part might give me an opportunity to talk more about living off grid, since I do. And funny thing, off grid means we are not connected to the electricity of a town at all. That's all. Ours is solar in where we are. So, but yes, of course I have internet because that's how I work. Oddly enough, my coworkers were like, I don't know if I could live without internet. And I was like, you guys know I'm on the internet right now. That's how I can talk to you. You know that, right? Right? Huh? Okay. So, without further ado, I watched the first episode of Love Off Grid. Yes, Love Off Grid. So, the first episode is much like your usual first episodes of these shows of these nature, where they're trying to basically give you kind of the backstory of several different people and what their thing is. They don't really get into like necessarily living off grid or anything like that. Just basically these are the people. And of course, they're not going to focus so much on their systems. So I'm trying to like spy on their systems, through the different scenes and stuff like that. But we're gonna go over the people since, that's the important part for most people. So your first couple is going to be Charlie and Jen. Charlie's 50 years old and Jen is 47. And as I'm watching that, I'm looking at her and I'm like, we're the same age. I do not look like that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we totally do not look alike. So, Charlie met Jen like 28 years prior. They dated. He's living in Black Mountain, North Carolina, I think. Stone Mountain. Is it Stone Mountain? Because there's a Highland Games there. So Stone Mountain. So he and Jen dated for like a year and a half, and it just didn't work out. And then Jen went and lived with his mom for like a year or so. And then Jen got married to somebody at the beach because she's all about life on the beach. And she's got 4 boys, I think. And the show opens up with her getting Botox. And I was like, okay, that's definitely not going to be something you're going to be getting on the mountain. But what I can say is I'm really not as remote as I think any of these people are. They seem to be like really remote. Now they didn't show very much of Charlie's setup. It just looked like he had kind of a one-room little cabin kind of thing. you know, what I can say about the surrounding area is beautiful. It's beautiful and green, and, you know, that which makes me go, winters might not be so much fun there. Yeah. So, yeah. And so I watched Off Grid with my roommate, and we were making a drinking game on how many times Jen calls the cabin the shack. Don't do it, you will die. But that's for a next episode. So the next person or couple I felt a little more kinship with, because they're in Arizona, and if you don't know, I live in Arizona. So it's Angela, who's 56 years old, and Josh, who's 27. And yes, I have notes here because I wouldn't remember that stuff. So Angela lives in Yucca, Arizona, which I thought from like the imagery they showed was like down in the, you know, south from where I am, you know, like down Phoenix, Tucson, Tatooine, what is that? Yuma. So I thought it was down there, but it's actually in the northwestern corner of the state, which I found really interesting because it's so deserty. And I'm like, the whole state, if you guys don't know, the whole state of Arizona is not Phoenix. You have Flagstaff, which is wonderful, beautiful forest. Where I live is not. I live in the high desert. We'll get to that. But anyway, I did live in Phoenix for 20 years. So I think this is why I was a little more near and dear to my heart, because of where she's living. But anyway, Angela's 56. She has a 5-acre ranch in, I said Yucca, right? Not Yuma? Anyway, so she has no running water. I don't know if she's got solar. She might have to use a generator for electricity, if she even has electricity. It seems extremely remote, extremely hot. What they were showing on the screen was like 115 degrees. I guess when she went and picked up Josh, wherever she picked him up from, it was like 90 degrees at night, which I am so familiar with, living in Phoenix for 20 years. Yeah, I remember that, 90 degrees at midnight. It's awesome. However, though, she's out in the desert, so it's probably a teensy-weensy bit cooler than it would be if she was in the city, which I don't know if there are any cities up there. I don't think there's really a whole lot of anything up in that part of the state. I've never actually been up there. She lives in a trailer, it looks like a single wide. It looks like she's made lots of improvements. She's got lots of plants and stuff like that, so that's probably what she's doing. Regarding them, I guess she met him in LA of all places, and they spent like a hot 3 days together, and you know, whatever. Dude, Josh, is from Dallas, Texas. He is a guy who likes to be pampered, I guess, which, I mean, surprising when you look at him. As Angela describes him, he looks like Jason Momoa's little brother. I would say budget Jason Momoa. But he likes to get his nails done and get his little petties and stuff like that. But to look at him, you wouldn't necessarily think that, or at least I wouldn't. He said stuff like he takes 3 showers a day and she doesn't have running water. So there'll probably be a little culture shock right there. As she takes him around her place, he's kind of like, I think this is how the horror movie starts, which there are times when I'm walking around my own place that I'm like, I'm gonna get axe murdered right now. And there was like just this week, right? I went to the bathroom, I was in the bathroom and I heard this sound and I was like, because the dog was in the house with me, and I was like, Ethel, if that's not you, I'm probably getting axe murdered. So he had that kind of moment where he's like, this is how the horror movie starts. And then he made reference to a deep freeze she had in the trailer, and he's like, is that a refrigerator or a deep freeze? And she's like, it's a deep freeze. However, it acts as a refrigerator because it's so hot here. So, The next couple, not necessarily important to me, but the next couple is Joe and Miesha. They're in Center, Alabama, which I can only imagine is humid. So he has a 24-acre parcel. He's wanting to start basically like a hippie commune is what I would describe it as. They're polyamorous, so he wants to basically have like a polyamorous hippie commune thingy-majigger. He has formerly like farmed goats, farms, all that kind of fun stuff. When you meet him, he's using a nail gun, and I'm wondering where the hell he got the power for that, because they haven't made any reference to a generator or solar, so I don't know how he's running the nail gun. Because you need, you don't necessarily need electricity to run it, but you need air. You need an air compressor to run. So I don't know, maybe he was jumping it off the car. Could have, maybe he's jumping it off the car battery. I don't know. Miesha, or what did I say? His name is Joe, he's 39. The next one is Miesha, his girlfriend, she's 33. She's from Fayetteville, Georgia. She's from a very like close-knit kind of family, never been away from her family kind of thing. So I don't know how that's gonna work out, and she's not a very outdoorsy type person, which he seems to be. He's your like proverbial long hair, beard kind of dude who looks like, yeah, he probably, you know, spends a lot of time outside doing stuff. I didn't have a whole lot to say on them. They didn't show a whole heck of a lot. That he was building a platform for their house. All I can say, is there was a trailer in the background. There was a trailer in the background. Yeah, he's like, we're gonna stay in a tent. I'm like, how? There's a trailer. So I don't know if that was a trailer that's maybe not on his property, or maybe that's a trailer that is for the staff that's filming. I don't know, but they should have moved it so it wasn't in the shots. Whew. Anyway, so next we have Spencer, who's 27, and his girlfriend Lindsey, who's 32. Now Spencer lives in Grand Junction, Colorado, in the high desert, which is much more like where I live. So he has 40 acres. He has a 1500 watt solar array, which can't really do a whole lot. It's not a whole lot of electricity. You can't run a refrigerator or an electric blanket or anything like that. And I think all of these people are way more remote than I am. Then he had like his girlfriend Lindsey. And they briefly showed his batteries, and I was like, why don't you have them under shelter at least? But they were lead acid batteries, so those ones can get cold. They can get hot too. Them getting hot though just kind of shortens their battery life. But personally, I would at least put them under cover. Anyway. Lindsey was 32, as I said, and she is this little red-haired girl, and she reminds me of somebody I know so much, which I'm trying not to think about because that person is crazy. She's crazy. So I'm thinking this Lindsey chick is crazy. They didn't spend a whole heck of a lot of time on Spencer and Lindsey, but it seemed like I don't know, it seemed interesting because I think he scavenged most of the stuff for his house, which it actually looked pretty cute. I think he did a good job. But yeah, that was the first episode. It was mostly just laying the groundwork of people in the show. So I'm looking forward to this. I think this is going to be awesome. I'm excited. So I hope you guys are too, and I hope you enjoy this and continue with me on the journey of these people finding love while living off-grid. With that, air hugs, and I will see you in the next video.